Pregame.com.
My second Week 1 best bet of the 2017 college football season. This is Brad Powers in the Pregame.com studios just off the Vegas Strip, and the college football season doesn't begin for another 4 months, but I continue to find some value in the off-season markets, and I got a best bet coming your way.
Let's go to Arlington, Jerry's World. Michigan laying 7 points to Florida. A lot of points. Who do you like?
Yeah, I'm going to like the underdog here, Florida +7. And the reason I like Florida is actually I play against their opponent, Michigan. And I got to be honest, experience matters, especially early on in the season. And Michigan, the least experienced team in the entire country, only 5 returning starters back for the Wolverines this year, including only 1 on the defensive side of the ball. A lot of talent lost. In fact, in the NFL draft this past April, Michigan lost a school record 11 players of the NFL draft. They've been playing Michigan football for a long time there. Lots of talent lost. Inexperienced team that I'm going to fade early on in the season. Take Florida plus the points.
So I have to ask you about another Big Ten team, Ohio State. They were the least experienced team entering 2016. I'm having flashbacks now to them murdering Bowling Green, destroying Oklahoma, and annihilating Tulsa in a monsoon. Why is Michigan going to be different?
Well, a lot of it had to do with the tenure of the head coach. Urban Meyer was entering his 5th season in Columbus, and all of his recruiting classes, all of his players were guys that he recruited. So they had more depth in Michigan. Meanwhile, this is Jim Harbaugh's 3rd season in Ann Arbor. All the best players on last year's team all left for the draft. His best players now as far as this year's team, the freshman and sophomore classes. And while Michigan's going to have a lot of upside probably later in the year and next year, they're not going to have a lot of upside with all that inexperience, especially early in the season.
Starting point to every handicap, power ratings. Where do you have both these teams?
I got both of them in the top 15, mainly in the 10 to 15 range. Michigan slightly higher. In fact, probably about 2 to 3 points better than Florida, but certainly not a full touchdown. And as far as what I did with these teams after last season was complete, Florida, I didn't do too much with their power rating, maybe down slightly. Their defense is going to take a step back, but I think offensively, I think they're going to be the best that they've been under Jim McElwain in his 3rd year here. Michigan, though, that's the team that I downgraded 3-4 points, at least early on the season with all that talent gone in the NFL. I got to be honest with you, Fez, I don't see much of a downgrade from Michigan as far as the future markets go.
Yeah, so Michigan, ultra-public team, and at the end of the year, the quarterback gets hurt. They lose a game at Iowa they really shouldn't have lost. They really struggled against Indiana. Normally, people would look at that final scores and they downgrade a team. However, they were so public, I think the public knows they can kind of explain those shortcomings in those games away, right?
Yeah, and let's be honest, Wilton Spate got banged up. You mentioned the Iowa game. They lost that one. Didn't play the Indiana game. They struggled, didn't cover the spread. And also probably wasn't 100% for the bowl game against Florida State and the loss to Ohio State. But I got to be honest with you, Fez, Wilton Spate is not Deshaun Watson. He's not single-handedly winning Michigan games for him. And all those players that made Wilton Spate look good, the wide receivers, the tight end Jake Butt, the leading rusher, all those guys are gone. So now it's just Wilton Spate by himself. I don't think it's going to be a good look early for Michigan.
Your second key handicap.
Well, let's talk about, public teams. Obviously, we're contrarian guys. I mean, the public's wrong more often than they're right, and I think they generally tend to be overrated. And it's really peculiar to this Michigan team. Out of nowhere, this is a team that mainly became the most popular public team in the entire country last year. Actually created value against Michigan late in the season. But I got to be honest with you, I'm starting to see that carry over to this season as far as them being a very popular team.
Yeah, Matthew Holt, Vice President CGT Technologies, was lamenting how Michigan was the #1 most public team last year. And he would come on with us on the radio. How'd the week go? Oh, Michigan, Hawaii. We couldn't buy a bet on Hawaii. Michigan, Penn State. Just a destruction. We were already adding up our liability at halftime, how much we were going to lose. Ultra public Michigan.
Yeah, and it's remarkable considering Alabama was trying to repeat his chant. You had Deshaun Watson back at Clemson. You had Ohio State hosting Michigan in a big game there. And I got to be honest with you, as far as the future markets, Michigan #6 right now, Fez, as far as the best odds to win the title. Again, they're not even in the top 10 of my power ratings right now.
Yeah, forget the yes. I want to find a prop that lets me bet the no. Let's make this one official.
Yeah, let's make this one official. We got Florida +7 here, and experience matters, especially early on in the college football season. And we have a Michigan team that's the least experienced team in the entire country. Only 5 returning starters. Add in the fact that public teams often overrated. At the end of last year, Michigan was the most popular public team in the country. We're starting to see that carry over to this year, and I'm going to fade all that public action. Add it all up, week 1, Florida +7 over Michigan, your pick. More videos at pregame.com.